Hello, I am Terry Lynn Hamby and I am the Chemical Hygiene Officer for Atlantic Cape Community College. This is an overview of the Chemical Hygiene Plan with details that pertain to your specific duties and environment. The Chemical Hygiene Plan is a state-required document that is composed from the OSHA standards for laboratory hazards. It is a guideline for safe lab practices and to alert you to potential hazards.
Why do I need to know this? The primary reason is that you handle the laboratory chemicals and you access the laboratories during deliveries. The Chemical Hygiene Plan is to alert you to potential hazards, how to protect yourself, and ensure the safety of staff, students, and visitors while protecting college property. The Executive Director of HR authorizes the Chemical Hygiene Officer to oversee and implement the plan. The Executive Director also acts as a liaison between the Chemical Hygiene Officer and the President, who has the ultimate responsibility for the plan. The Chemical Hygiene Officer works closely with the Compliance Officer to make sure that the Chemical Hygiene Plan works with other compliance plans such as the hazardous waste and provides perspective on inspections. Faculty are responsible for instructing students in the lab about safe lab practices and enforces these practices. Lab staff need to follow safety practices and alert others in the lab when these practices are not being performed. Non-lab staff need to be aware of their surroundings while working in laboratories and follow safe lab practices. Section 4.6 is specific to chemical receiving. All incoming shipments must be inspected by the Chemical Hygiene Officer or trained designee and should be refused if the proper labels are not attached or containers are not intact and not in good condition. If leaking containers are found, the containers must immediately be placed in the appropriate secondary container. All areas where shipments of chemicals are received will have appropriate personal protective equipment and spill control materials available. Each chemical receiving area should have appropriate fire extinguisher. All receiving employees are designated by the Chemical Hygiene Officer. Therefore, it is your responsibility to check for damaged packaging and refuse delivery on those packages that are damaged. Sometimes the packaging looked fine, but the container is damaged or starts to leak. In these situations, be sure you are wearing proper personal protective equipment and place the leaking item into secondary containment such as a plastic tub. Contact the Chemical Hygiene Officer. In events where the chemical poses an immediate danger, follow the spill plan and evacuate. We will cover the spill section on an upcoming slide. Personal protective equipment begins with the clothing that you wear. When working with chemicals, you should cover as much skin as possible and wear long pants and sturdy shoes that cover the entire foot. The college provides safety eyewear, gloves, and aprons. Safety items that should be found on the loading dock include fire extinguisher, spill kit, eye wash solution. For replacement supplies, contact the Chemical Hygiene Officer. Types of chemicals that can be found on campus include highly toxic chemicals. A chemical is classified as highly toxic when the lethal dose is equal to or less than 50 milligrams per kilogram when ingested orally, 200 milligrams per kilogram for topical exposure, and 200 parts per million or 2 milligrams per liter for inhalation exposure. Mercuric nitrate, sodium dichromate, and bromine are examples of this. A chemical is classified as highly flammable when its flash point is less than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We have many of these on campus. A few examples are acetone, methanol, cyclohexane, ethanol, and pentane. Highly reactive chemicals usually are reactive with other chemicals or substances, such as hydrogen peroxide and its reactions with metals, or sulfuric acid and its violent reaction with water. Highly corrosive chemicals are acids and bases with a molarity greater than 1 molar. Some that we have on campus would be ammonium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, and sulfuric acid. Contact hazards encompass chemicals that can be found in all of these classifications and are any chemical that can damage the skin or eyes with contact. Reproductive toxins include lead and mercury compounds and chloroform. Some reproductive toxins can cause the loss of the baby, while others cross the placenta and cause birth defects, and other types may damage the ability to conceive.
Some control measures we utilize at Atlantic Cape are signs and posters to provide information and to alert you to hazards, safety data sheets, exposure monitoring when needed, inventory and incident report forms are kept for up to 30 years.
If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at thamby@atlanticcape.edu. You can also call me at 609-343-5025 or stop by my office in the STEM building, S216. Thank you.